all know Cliff Burton over here?
I started to realize there's something really deep about this guy, and he's special.
Greetings, fellow musicologists and metal scholars of the world. Well, one of the greatest metal anthems of all time, Orion, is an epic song, 8 minutes of pure sonic pleasure. But one question remains open. Why was it named that way? Why not something else? Something maybe related to Welcome Home Sanitarium, for example, Oh, this coffee's good. Well, the main reason, according to official sources, is actually that there's this spacey vibe, to the song. So this vibe that alludes to the night sky. They started really thinking about, let's say, ideas that could potentially be linked to the song, and they thought about constellations. That's fair, but I did some research, and there are 88 constellations in the sky, so why did they name Orion? There are 7 stars in the constellation of Orion, and the song is the seventh track on Master of Puppets. So if we discount the fade-in intro, we have 7 minutes of action. The name Orion is not really originally from the constellation. It comes from Greek mythology. Once upon a time, there was this warrior, and his name was Orion. And I like the fact that he was a soldier, because the first era of Metallica, the Kill 'Em All era, it brings the idea of a metal militia. This band of brothers, the metal army. Songs like Seek and Destroy or Whiplash or Metal Militia, and Orion is the ultimate culmination of that. So, Orion as the hunter, the soldier. If you read the book The Odyssey, Ulysses, the main character, he visits the underworld, which is called Hades, and he sees the shadow of Orion there. Orion lives in hell, and that's where metal dwells. Happily ever after. There are also some similarities between Orion the warrior and Cliff Burton. They both, unfortunately, died suddenly. Orion was killed by the sting of a scorpion, and Cliff obviously was killed by the blunt trauma of a car crash. But with Orion, Zeus is responsible for his elevation to the heavens, and Cliff's elevated to the heavens by the metal community. So he's up there in the pantheon of great bass players who contributed to the evolution of the genre. And this section of the song actually, in my opinion, introduces Orion to the audience when, Cliff is playing the bass arpeggios. This sequence is actually tattooed on James's Hetfield's left arm. He eternalized the moment, the dum doo dum 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 dum. When Cliff presented the idea, that's when everything was triggered, and they follow through with the songwriting. And so there's a little birth idea that's told by the bass, and the fact that the Orion also has, the constellation has a nebula that's, the birth of stars, like the nucleus of stars formation. So that section is spacey, and if you close your eyes and you think about the night sky, you can picture the Orion belt. And the Orion belt is actually the most recognizable part of the constellation. You have 3 stars, have Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. And these stars are evenly spaced and in a straight line. So that's why the Greeks saw them as part of Orion's belt. And but now that we have telescopes, we know that you have like multiple star systems, like triple star systems, if you zoom in. But and they're really far away. They're like 1 to 2,000 light years away. But everyone can easily spot these 3 beauties in the sky. And if you do so when you're playing Orion at the same time, it's going to be a really awesome experience. So I highly recommend you do that. Okay, for the nerdy folks out there, you know, the two other stars that we have, Beetlejuice, which is also super famous because of Tim Burton, you know. It's actually a giant red star, and Tim Burton used it with one of his most iconic characters. And you also have Bellatrix. Bellatrix was used by J.K. Rowling, you know the name. And the other two stars that are actually part of Orion's feet are Saiph and Rigel. What else do we know about Orion? Well, one cannot really forget the bass solo. Well, the first time that we hear Cliff really loud and clear is at 1 minute and 43 seconds. He plays a very famous metal riff, and I consider this part of like the For Whom the Bell Tolls version of Master of Puppets, you know? So check this out. After that, they come back to the main topic of the story until Kirk and James, they play various harmonies and leads, you know, but the highlight lead is actually at 6 minutes and 35 seconds, and it lasts till 6:54. And here is the isolated solo for your convenience. And that, my friends, is how you create a metal masterpiece. That's how you let the bass shine. One cannot imagine an instrumental song like Orion without the role of the bass. And if you want to listen to a loud bass version, you can listen to my mix. Just click on the link here on the card. Do you agree? What are your thoughts on the song? When was the first time that you heard it? I first bumped into Master of Puppets. I was 13, 14 back then, and it was just love at first sight. Actually, love at first listen. You know, tell me your story in the comments below, please. And thank you for watching. Happy holidays, and remember that music is what music does. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.